back to the third season of the Trade Brokers Diaries special video series on Africa, Open for Business. On this video, as promised, we're going to discuss one of the key countries in Western Africa that is showing a great deal of economic promise, a high growth rate, and lots of opportunities for people inside the country and inside the continent and outside as well. This country is Sierra Leone. On this program, we're going to have a special conversation with one of Sierra Leone's United States honorary consuls, His Majesty Methuselah Zachariah Othello Bradley IV, Paramount of West Africa, which covers the 16 nations of the economic community of West Africa. And now, our conversation with Consul Bradley. Consul Bradley, thank you very much for coming to this interview, sir.
I'm glad to be.
Thank you. With regard to the state of the economy in Sierra Leone, could you tell us what things are being done to improve the overall business climate in Sierra Leone nowadays?
Well, as you know, we had Ebola. And as of about 2 months ago, our gross national product, I believe, had gone down from 14% to 4%. And it continued to plunge. But now with them eradicating Ebola, and the schools are now open, businessmen are coming back into the country, it is making it so that the climate as well. But our president, Ernest Bai Koroma, for Sierra Leone, he has made it so that you used to have to go to this spot to get this license, to another spot to get that. It was a long time to get it done. Now it's within a couple of days you can actually get all the things that you need to have done and be in business and go to work. The climate is that they really want investors. They really want, and I think it is a bonanza for people that want to come in now because we've had so much of this Ebola that it's made it so that people that had companies there had to be removed. Even the American embassy was reduced down in its staff and came back here. Now you have people coming back. You have the schools open. You have the universities open. You have such a invigorated business climate, and everybody wants to. As you know, Sierra Leone has one of the best, if not the best, sources of diamonds, gold, bauxite, coltan. You even have gum arabic there. You have so much that and one of it was so great along the coast of London, where they had all the casinos and other kinds of things. And I believe that now's the time to come back to Sierra Leone. And now's the time to invest in Sierra Leone. And you've got a government whose administration is gung-ho to open the doors to investment, to partnership, to philanthropists, to all the people that want to come back and be a part of this great event. And that's really the growth not only Sierra Leone, but people come there because they're looking for a profit. And the government wants to put its people to work. It wants to see you make a profit. But the government also wants to benefit in terms of roads and other things.
Excellent. Now, what improvements have been made over the years to the country's banking and credit system?
That also is making it, not only is it coming in line with what we would call Western standards, but you can do things before. You used to have to send your money in through the Western Union, or they have programs where you give the money to someone here, and that person will then give you a like amount of money over there, and it was very, very cumbersome. And I remember back in '99 when I was in Guinea, a person sent us 20,000 US. Well, there was no way to translate it. There's no way to really to keep it. So you go to the bank, and they gave us some pieces of hard cardboard or wood, and they had string, and they had the money stacked up in guinea francs, about maybe 2 feet high, and we wind up with 4 of those things and walking down the street, which is not good. And so, whereas in Sierra Leone, there's just ways that you can do things. You can use a checking system. You can use, and you can tie your bank in with their banks.
I see.
One of the things you cannot attract business without infrastructure. And one of the things that this government has been able to do is that they have been building roads, and they were just building roads straight out, going out to McKenna, going towards the Liberian border and towards Guinea's border, and bridges, and I'm talking about highways that are comparable to our superhighways here. And of course, all that came to a sort of a, if not a stop, a slowdown because of this Ebola. But it is now back full swing. When I was last there, it used to take you forever just to go from Freetown to, let's say, the Liberian border. Okay. Now with the highways coming in, it's just the last parts of it is difficult, but you can get really far along. And where the highway comes, a lot of not only infrastructure in terms of places to stop to get food, places to sleep, those kinds of things.
Excellent. And what, for example, are the opportunities to invest in, say, the natural resources of the country, such as mining or agriculture or healthcare, for that matter?
You look at the fact that just in the last 2 months, since March 2nd, they have people are coming to invest in all kinds of things. Business people, I've taken them down to the embassy in Washington, and even in strange areas. I call it strange because it's not what you would normally think about, but to the entertainment industry in terms of making movies, television, the upgrade of the communication system so that your cell phone actually works. You can send texts out, you can send emails out. They are trying to increase the amount of wattage output because big business need power in order to be able to go. And of course, Sierra Leone has lots of sun, and a lot of things are becoming on the solar panel, solar system. We're part of that big cable that they're running all along the coast, past all the other countries, and then we get a trunk going off on it. And so it's an exciting time to be able to do things and be a part of it.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. And you mentioned internet connectivity and cell phone service. What other major improvements are there being made in internet connectivity specifically?
One thing, it works. When I sent my deputy, Lady MO, over there, and that's recent. One of the problems with when she was there was just communication. You're right in the middle of a conversation, it breaks off, or you can't send a text, or you can't, or the lights would be off, or that kind of stuff. And or you go outside to the thing, you head to the districts, like you want up in Bonner County, or any of those, anywhere outside of Maryland County there. And you just couldn't communicate very well. There was a tremendous amount of difficulty. Now I was just laughing. I was talking to Lady Emma this morning, and I dialed her, got her right away. She called me back and got me right away, and you can text back and forth about what's going on and how it's developing with the business people that we sit there.
Excellent.
And there's no difference. There's no breakdown in it. So the communications have taken greatly since I first became counsel, almost 21 years ago.
I see. Yeah. And can you tell the viewers about the export market opportunities for Sierra Leone?
We have lots of things coming out of the country. That's for example, when we were talking about transportation, we are developing now better to be able to get our bauxite out. And when we went down just 2 years ago to set up an agreement between Philadelphia and the Delaware Valley region and Sierra Leone in terms of bringing stuff back and forth, one of our great problems was that the roads were so bad that if they were bouncing, it would bruise the fruit. Now, there wouldn't be anything wrong with the fruit, but nobody would want fruit that looks like it's starting to rot or bruise. And that is being addressed because now you can start shipping things in for as far as almost 50 miles out from outside of Freetown. The roads are smooth. There's no bouncing and things. It's very modern. Okay. So that works out.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that because that will help to be my next question. With regard to Sierra Leone's transport network, including roads, trains, and airports, what are the improvements that the government sees that it wants to make now or in the near future with regard to anything?
One thing is that when you fly in, you have more choices now.
Oh, good.
You could drive because everybody thinks that the airport is really on an island, a lungi, okay? But it really is just an extension of it. It just curves around the waterway. Now, you can't see from one side to the other, so it looks like you're going back out into the ocean. Okay. And that's how wide it is. But it would take you normally 5 to 6 hours to go all the way around and drive back to Freetown. So when you fly in, you still got 6 more hours to go, longer than it took you to fly down from Europe somewhere. Okay. Now they have, you can take the helicopter back and forth across.
Right.
You can take the speed boats, and you can take these boats that can take 30 people or some number of people. And when you get on the other side, there's a station that you come off of. They call it in Aberdeen, and there's taxis and things to pick you up, or whoever's been assigned to pick you up. So that's a tremendous influence and improvement. One of the things that they're looking at is to build a bridge across, and that's going to be a tremendous undertaking, but that will cut down the travel time.
Excellent, excellent. With regard to education, what are the educational trends in the country? Where's the focus for the country's youth in terms of educational advancement?
That's one of the highest priorities for health and education that President Cuomo has. As you know, he is the head of all the universities. You might have a person who we would normally say this is the president of the university, but the president of all the universities is actually the president of the country. So truly, the buck stops here in terms of things going right or wrong with that. So it's really part of the people think about university, think about Forbes, okay, but that's actually one of the many universities under that. Secondly, you have people that are training in areas that make them able to come out and be helpful, not just in politics or picture painting or some other kind of things like that, but in terms of areas like mining and resource and management and business consultants and accountants and that sort of thing. So it is a very, very good system. It is something that is improving each day. And you have to look at it. This country has spent almost 14 years at war. It was both an attack from outside as well as a civil war within the structure. And it created a tremendous brain drain. But now you have so many people that are back, who and the country is more stable. Okay, used to you couldn't complain about the head of state. You could only go to war against the head of state, against the president. Now, everybody's free to complain, and and that's good for the overall growth. It is a democratically elected head, the president is, and it has a working parliament, and as well as and this president has done something very unique. It has gone out of its way to fight corruption. And as you look at his track record in that area, that's one of the reasons that it's better for business. Because you don't have people that are, in order to do something that they're already paid to do, they're not there saying, well, give me this, I'll do something here if you do that. Or if you want this stamped, or if you want this position. Now, it's really, it's on merit. You've got a head of state that says what he means and means what he says, and will, remove people that, are proven to be not satisfactory. So I think that, again, this is the time to invest in Sierra Leone.
Well, that's good. As you said, there was a civil war in the country. You had the outbreak of Ebola. Since that time, what has been done to alter the way Sierra Leone deals with health crises in the country, specifically in the light of the Ebola outbreaks last year?
Well, it was unprecedented. Nobody expected it to be like this. We had bouts with cholera, and then you had people who just weren't informed, and so therefore they spent time being some people were saying, well, the Ebola was not real, and that this was something created by somebody, and a lot of that kind of things. And it took a while to be able to get people to come in line and stop spreading it just because they didn't believe that it existed. So, and then you have people who traditionally, well, they were used to taking care of their own, and because they're hugging the family member to the chest, they wind up catching it and they die. So, in March of last year, I went to the UN and I was allowed to speak on the floor for their infectious disease. They had doctors from all around the world. And I stood up and I said, this Ebola is going to be the heavyweight champion of killing people. But nobody believed it. And the thing that I found, because it had always been contained in a particular area, that's why I even got the name, because of the Ebola River, where it came out. And it would come and it would go, and that was it. But this thing struck hard and fast and was mobile, and you couldn't contain it. You didn't know. Countries began to close its borders, and when Duncan came in Texas, and he had the disease. Now it became very real, but in a way, it was because of the fact that I had made that speech that the head of it, his name is Dr. Rubin, and he is chairman of a department at the University of Pennsylvania, but he's also chairman of the UN's infectious disease committee. Right. And he and I began to work together, and he was just marvelous. Mm-hmm. He called all his friends, which is worldwide, and he called them and said, look, Chief Bradley wants to do something about this. And they just opened up their purses. They opened up whatever material, because they were hospitals and doctors already. Right. And so they would give us, at first we thought that all we needed was a lot of these little hand sanitizers, which doesn't do anything against this stuff. And the other is that we thought that any kind of gloves. And as you know, in the beginning, excuse me, it's Dr. Harvey Rubin at the University of Pennsylvania, and he, it's just been amazing. The outpouring of support, the intensity of the support, people calling and saying, "Oh, we're sorry, we only can give you so many tons of this." You know what I mean? Like, sorry, they only give us. So I just find that to be a blessing. And what we started to do was, because they say, well, we eradicated from this village. But the problem is people would run over to Liberia, or Liberians would run over to us, or the Ghanaians would run over to other things. So I felt in the beginning that even though I was the consul, the honorary consul for Sierra Leone, that we needed to divide this up among the three countries. And so we began to do that. And then and our ambassador, which is Booker Stevens, he agreed. And then I met with Ambassador Sulate from Liberia, and he agreed. And so I became the acting honorary consul for them. And I think, and then the presidents got together from the three countries, and they met with President Obama. And because they were doing it as a joint effort, because each country, if they only tried to concentrate on their own country, you weren't solving the problem, because you could eradicate it in your area, and then the people would move back over to the other country, and then as soon as that was clear, they'd come back over this side. So it was never going to go away. And so I'm just very, very pleased with the fact that all three countries now are. I know the superintendent over in Bone County in Liberia, where I'm chief over there. Her name is Salima Mape, and just last week they had a parade down in the middle of the thing, saying that it was her and the doctors and walking down, because they were Ebola free. And I'm just happy, because it looked like we were never going to defeat this thing. And I'm happy with the results from it.
Glad to hear it. In the light of the Ebola outbreak and the opening up of West Africa, is your country reaching out to the expat or African communities in the diaspora or in the Americas to basically come home and help with the rebuilding of Sierra Leone in particular?
Well, you have, and it's gone across party lines, but basically Sierra Leone is what you would call a coalition government. I forgot how many parties, 20-something parties. But the two major parties, which is the SLPP and the APC, the current president's APC, they've gotten together to gather up stuff on their own to send back. some of them have just decided to go back and work they've been gathering different things. I know, like, there's a fireman here out in up Darby. At Darby, he's from his name's Sacco, Haji Sacco, and he's a member of the fire department out there. And he's been gathering both materials and stuff like that to go back over there. Everyone has always done it, but not to this in a way. This Ebola has coalesced the groups to do more.
Well, that's good. With regard, therefore, to the future economic prospects of the country, how does the income of the average citizen compare to their neighbors, say in Guinea or other neighboring countries nowadays?
They're relatively the same. One thing about West Africa, your mother could be from that country, and your father could be from this country. So it's really, and what I found to be surprising, one group on the side of the of the Mano River, they're speaking French, and right across the way, their family members are speaking English, and so there's a lot of interaction, and that's why it was so that this Ebola could travel so fast, because you had family everywhere, and I think that this thing, when the three presidents got together and they said that they wanted to work together to defeat this thing, with the help of the U.S. and Great Britain and some of the other places, it worked out well. Well, I think it's a new era of working together and to combat a common enemy. And you've got to look at one of the enemies is really producing more production, being able to do more exports, having more imports, providing jobs. And this is coalesce people. And I know there are people that have just gone back who are making comparatively a ton of money here in the U.S. to go back and do the same job, and you make a whole lot less.
Right.
And but they're dedicated to trying to make a change.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
As you can see from the comments of Consul Bradley, there are many opportunities awaiting business people from all over the world in places like Sierra Leone. But keep in mind, Sierra Leone is just one of many countries on the African continent, and one of the smaller ones, I might add. There are even more opportunities awaiting business people from around the world and entrepreneurs all across Africa in the other nations of the African Union. Write to us with your comments, your questions. As usual, our email address is right here. So we always look forward to hearing from you. We're always happy to hear what you have to say. And again, for all of you YouTube subscribers and viewers, please always comment, rate, and subscribe to our videos. I'm your host, Muhammad Bey. Thank you for watching this special presentation of the Trade Brokers Diaries, Africa, Open for Business. Thanks for watching, and take care. See you at the next video. On the next edition of the Trade Brokers Diaries special presentation of Africa, Open for Business, a conversation with His Excellency Jeremiah C. Solenta, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary for the Republic of Liberia.
Help to create jobs, to be able to create the kind of investment most desire. So the central bank is doing its own macroeconomic policy, fiscal policy, engaging the inflation rate and the consumer price index of our country.
Be sure to join us.